of the deal. It's BONK taking on HSDIRR in just a few moments' time. A matchup I think a lot of people are going to be excited to watch as well, because I think this is going to be a close one.
Yeah, I mean, from the players that we have on Bonk, right? People are going to be thinking like, yeah, this is going to be a maybe an easy game for Bonk, especially when we're looking at the opposition, which is HSDIRR. Me personally, I know me and you both have maybe mixed thoughts here, but I do think HSDIRR are going to put up a good fight because we saw them against Focus, right? And we saw how well it was Lynxy, I believe, how well he played against Focus. I think he dropped about 26 kills. So potentially, if we see some star players like that, maybe this game might go 2-1. We'll see.
Maybe, maybe. Well, let's talk about their opposition first and foremost, right? Let's have a little chat about BONK, because obviously this is a side that's that a lot of people, again, I think the names on this team are quite well known, right? This is, again, quite a reputable team when it comes to sort of this step down from VCT level Valorant, is that we're looking at a team of individuals that are very, very capable. This man on your screen right now, Jisoo, I think you were hyping up to be at the start of today. I think a lot of people will understand as well exactly why. Because again, this game against Vamonos, despite obviously BONK having a run for their money, they still showed some serious resistance. And obviously, as we look at the roster as well, it isn't just Juicy that we're going to keep our eyes on. There is a lot of players on this side that you definitely don't want to be running into.
No, what I mean, let me just point out the obvious, right? And now, whoever follows high-level Valorant, you would know that Cider, yes, he is wearing that Alliance jersey, but he was the player that filled in for FPX, the world champions for Copenhagen, right? You had Cider, who was making so many good plays on stage and was a sub, right? He was subbed in last moment, believe it was down to, visa issues, and he performed to such a good standard. And now we see him in Polaris with the likes of BONK and Chewy, who both have so much potential and they've got so much experience. Obviously, we had BONK who was on Guild, and he's gone through so many more teams, and he has got the best. And I think when we talk about experience and different teams, I would say BONK has the most experience when it comes to in-game leading a team, right? And then when you've got people like Jusu next to you, when you've got Kicks, and you've got those youngsters who are going to be giving and giving and giving, and the kills are going to be coming in, I honestly think BONK has such a solid team by his side. I reckon Polaris could potentially be his this league.
Well, I'm going to have a chat with BONK and see how things are getting on. First and foremost, thanks for joining me. My first question to you is, obviously, this is your first time in Polaris as a team. What's your opinion on the level of teams in this split?
I think the level of the teams in this split is very high, probably the most stacked league in Europe outside of the franchise, of course. It just makes it a lot more fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. Obviously, you've been in multiple projects as an IGL. Do you feel like that through the teams that you've been playing in that you're learning more and more? Or is it more solidifying with yourself and your teammates what you already know?
Of course, you live and you learn as time goes on. Like, I bring on experience from every team, every project that I've been part of, and I develop myself individually as well.
Yeah, fair enough. And what's the expectations for BONK as a team this year, right? Because obviously, I think you guys probably want to individually set the bar pretty high. But what are the goals, and maybe what are some of the more realistic results that you want to see?
I mean, we're going from the franchise slot. That's it.
Yeah, fair enough. Listen, short and
Yeah.
sweet. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Short and sweet indeed, mate. I didn't expect it to just be that it, done, right, move on. They want that spot, right, and understandably so, but I think we need to see, this team needs to be like fine wine, you know? It needs to like sort of progress over time. It needs to get better over time, because I'm not convinced that what we saw previously is going to be a title-winning team, right? And I think that's going to be an argument that a lot of people at home will kind of resonate with, is that we need to see BONK just improve over time to be able to believe that those goals are achievable, especially this split at least.
Yeah, I mean, yes, they won 2-1, right? They won during the week. But yes, the last two games, sorry, they were comfortable. But that first game on Icebox, they should have closed it out. And it's very similar to how we saw Focus potentially not closing out. Well, I mean they did, but they didn't do it in a good fashion on Pearl when they played HSDIRR. So I think when we look at BONK today, I want to see some some better discipline, at least if they get the lead, right? And I want to see them at least try and take it 2-0. And let's try and get this like very competitive, right? Because if BONK win this 2-0, we're going to have some teams at the top, and it's going to be an absolute slaughter when they have to go up against each other. Like the top 4 for this league, in my opinion, it's going to be the most competitive 4 teams that you've ever seen in Polaris.
Yeah, and listen, a convincing win today might give us a reason as to believe that they can make that top 4 push, right? Let's obviously talk about the flip side of things, and HSDIRR, another team that you've got to give massive respect to, right? Because they played Focus, arguably the top 2 teams in Polaris, right, heading into this split, right? And I don't think there's any argument otherwise that Focus are one of the best teams, if not arguably the best that we have here, right? And the fact that obviously heading into this first map, as you can see, that HSDIRR push it to double overtime, that we're looking like individuals like Lear on the Jet. We're looking at, you know, some very supportive pieces behind it as well. You know, you look at this roster, and you know what? There's not the same experience that we see out on Le Petit Bouffons. There's not the same experience that we see out on a Focus. But the fact that these guys, specifically against Focus, brought it down, sure it was a 2-0 to double OT in that first, I think that's going to give a lot of belief for people at home to think, you know what, HSDIRR, if they buck up their ideas, they're in a similar situation to BONK, where maybe that playoffs push is doable, but we've just got to see 120, 130% out of them.
Yeah, you mentioned that experience, right? And we always come back to the word experience. And when you look at HSDIRR, you actually don't see like any of them tier 1 pros, right? You can mention to the average Valorant enjoyer, right? You could say, oh yeah, you know Link, right? Who played for Liquid? Yeah, that guy that plays in the smoke. Yeah, we know him. You can't do this with HSDIRR, which is I think why a lot of people actually put them at like the bottom of the tier list when we're looking at Polaris. But individual skill is there. There's a reason they are in Polaris, right? There is a reason that they deserve a spot in these 8 teams. And today, I seriously want to see them play to their best potential. And I mean like play to their best. I do want to see a very competitive game, but they're up against BONK, right? And BONK are super good. But HSDIRR, I think, considering how close they made the game against Focus, they can do this against BONK. They can do it, and I'm super stoked to actually watch them play.
And I think the next thing we're going to have a little chat about a little bit more, right, maybe is that veto in sort of structuring that BO3 up, right, in terms of, you know, what are we looking at in terms of that? What are we looking at in terms of this series in general? We can obviously look at a head-to-head as well, right? 2 individuals that we wanted to point out a little bit more as 2 individuals that maybe, again, we look at the numbers. We always like to say that numbers don't mean everything, but in a case like this, we're looking at a Killjoy, a Fredden on a supportive piece for HSDIRR, and we're looking at Chua on the BONK side of things playing the Cypher. The ACS, the damage per round, it feels a little bit night and day.
Yeah, I mean, Chihuahua has been very well known for a long time. I believe he took like more of like a quieter season last season. He's been on teams like Excel and Nip, right? And they're 2 big teams. And now he's back in Polaris. It's so great to see him play because his Cypher is phenomenal. And we look at the stats here as a Cypher player, which those types of players you don't really see on the top, right? 257 ACS. He's got a headshot percentage of 32%. Nearly 33, and his first blood percentage, yes, it's only 7.6, but to be honest, having a good first blood percentage as a Sentinel can always mean good things. They might be getting their timing, right? We saw Cray do it last game, so why can't Chewy do it?
Yeah, I think that's certainly the case, right? And, you know, that's no disrespect to Fredden, who also has really good stats, as you said, right? The first blood percentage is not far off Chihuahua when it comes to that, right? And again, we're talking about a Killjoy player. You know, the KDA isn't as strong, but again, you're not expecting fragging numbers out of someone like Fredden. You're expecting someone to be able to hold down the site, to delay a push, to kind of put things together. And so, yeah, maybe not the best matchup in terms of statistics, but I think this is going to be a really intriguing head-to-head because it's who can do their role, do their job the best, right? Who is going to serve the best purpose for their team? And that's a conversation that only when we get into the server we'll be able to answer and dissect and pick apart. It's going to be an interesting one to have a little chat about in terms of obviously the veto as well. You know, looking back on previous times, looking back on previous games, obviously we saw how close Pearl was for the boys over at HSDIRR in that previous BO3 against the Focus boys. Are we going to see that again? I mean, is that a risk you're willing to take? I mean, maybe, because of course, like, yes, you lost, but you're only going to be taking positives out of this, right? I think that, okay, do you know what? We took focus to double OT, and if we can take focus to double OT, why can't we beat BONK on this map?
Yeah. Not many people can say that, right? Not many people can say that we took focus to WOT, and that game was so close. But the highlight players were, one of them being Fredden, right? On that killjoy, I'm sure it was. It was him and Lynxy. They seriously solidified that roster. But that's not to take away from any of the others, right? Ale, he has been a consistent player throughout Valorant, and especially Vicious as well. There are so many players on this team that they do have the skill to, if all 5 of them actually all performed, they're going to be a scary roster. But you can say that for anyone, right? So I do think it's a matter of, let's get into the game, let's see these vetoes, and
Yeah.
let's potentially see what they can work with, right? I'm not too sure if we're going to see them play Pearl.
Yeah,
Because,
VALORANT don't like it.
yeah, I mean, it depends, right? Because they did have a good running. They did have a good running. So I think the maps that I really want to see coming out from these two teams is one, I said it last time, is Haven, right? It's so good when it comes down to utility, and it's such a utility-based map, and the likes of BONK and the likes of HSDIRR, they are very heavily utility-based executions. So we'll see, I suppose, when we get actually into the vetoes.
Yeah, have it here for you as well, right? Obviously, as I said, Vamonos, they don't like Pearl. They usually banned it, or at least they did against the BONK side of things. Question is, are they going to keep it in? Indeed, they do. So, BONK opting to get rid of, obviously, Bind in that sense. I mean, that is their perm ban. I am mistaken. It is their perm ban, excuse me. And then, obviously, for the side of HSDIRR, they're going to get Refractor. So, Pearl map 1, Breeze map 2, Ascent map 3. If I'm not mistaken, other than Pearl, this is like the same map pool that we had last time, right? Or this was going to be the same map pool. I think Ascent was the third in the previous BO3. Anyway, doesn't matter either way. We're looking right now at a Pearl selected by HSDIRR. Again, just playing to their strengths, just focusing in on that first. And obviously, something to note as well is that we haven't seen, obviously, this BONK side on Pearl so far, because it was the ban of Vamonos when they played in that previous BO3. So, small sample sizes to be working with there. Maybe HSDIRR less on the anti-strat, more on their own game. Obviously, for Breeze, map 2, BONK wanted to jump into that one. Makes a little bit of sense, I guess. Probably just want to play their strengths, right? Probably want to just play to their advantages. And it'll be interesting to see how Ascent plays out as well, if we do get there.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, the one that I'm looking at right now, if we do get that 1-1 and then it does come down to the deciding map, well, we saw BONK play very well on Ascent in the middle of the week, right? They were absolutely dominant on that map. And I think when it comes down to the third game, I think it's down to the confidence of the players, right? You've just been playing for about 2 hours, at least. Well, I mean, depending how well the games went, you're going to be roughly playing for about an hour and a half between 2 hours, right? You get to game 3 and you're like, are we too tired, or do we actually have what it takes to finish this series? And I think when it comes to endurance, I think BONK may take it. And especially Ascent being their third map, I honestly think the endurance on the side of BONK and the experience they have, they're probably going to have the edge on this one, Retro.
Yes, obviously Pearl being map 1 as well. I wanted to look into the numbers history, right, of Pearl. What does it mean for a side like HSDIRR outside of that, right? And again, it's one of those maps where the sample size is pretty small. It's not a map that they have played an awful lot previously, which, do you know what? It's not a terrible thing, right? Like, they've played a massive amount of Bind. They've played masses on Haven, right? More of the maps that have been in for a longer time, but they're bringing in something new. They're willing to try it out on Pearl. They've played it 4 times. They've won it twice. They've lost twice. Something to note, right? The only difference they've had in comp is a switch between Jet and Neon, and then they've also brought in a KO over a Chamber. So I'm wondering how that one's going to shape up as well. Obviously, for the flip side of things, for a roster like BONK, right, how are they going to play on Pearl? Because yet again, I looked to their history on this map, and it's very, very small. The sample size is next to nothing, right? So... Yeah. Unless if you've played them in practice before, which I very much doubt that that's going to be the case, they've only played it the once, and it was against Clanic Esport, and that was the 30th of October, right? So we're still talking about way, way, way ago, and if I'm not mistaken, before then, that was the old Pearl, right? Or maybe that was like just in with the new Pearl, with the new changes. So,
yeah, just in, I believe, because it's quite a new map, isn't it?
Yeah, so either way, right, we're looking at a map that, again, very small sample size. You can't really pull out any of the anti-strat, which makes this one a lot more fun than you'd think, right? BONK may be going to have to read into HSDIRR, but HSDIRR have played this a little bit more.
Yeah, one thing I really want to touch on is actually the side of HSD. When it comes down to experience, I know they don't have as much experience as the side of BONK. Yes, BONK do have the two youngsters on their team being Kix and Jusu, but not BONK, sorry, HSD actually were in the Red Bull home ground qualifiers, right, during the Swiss series. And as long as my stats are correct, out of the 6 games in the Swiss series they played, and this is 4 of the main roster, right? I think the only they had Linksy. I think they had someone called Supma, who I think we did see in Polaris last time.
Sagma? No.
Supma, no,
Yeah.
Supma. But yeah, no, they won 4 out of their 6 games in the Swiss qualifier. Unfortunately, it didn't qualify them. So at least there's a little bit of experience on the side of HSDIRR. We're not going to count them out just yet, and we do have the agent select right here. What do we think about this, Retro?
Okay, first and foremost, HSD playing, as I said, the KO side of things, right? I was different between obviously the chamber time that they played with it. I think that was probably that pre-chamber nerf, right? So obviously KO clearly the more valuable option to them. As we jump, of course, into the BONK side of things, we've still got that KO. We have now got a Fade as well, so we're having double initiator, right? Obviously Cypher Omen and a Viper combo. And you know, when you run down the list of BONK again, you start to realize, wait, there's no Jet, there's no duelists. This is a very util heavy comp. But then again, I guess KO right click flashes, maybe, you know, the wall from Viper you push through. Maybe we see a Kaiko-esque performance on the KO, right, than what he showed on the Phoenix yesterday, where actually, you know, you're going to be flashing through a lot of your own utility, and that's just going to try and put up the numbers, and you're going to become the duelist and initiator.
Yeah, I feel like with this comp, though, BONK don't need to run a duelist, right? And like you say, they can definitely use Kix as a duelist onto that KO, which is a little bit different to the way AO plays KO, which is more of a supporting role. So we're definitely going to see some differences coming out from these two teams. But let's look at the minimap straight away. HSD has said rush A. That's the strat. It looks like we've got obviously Fredden sitting far back. Well, actually no, we've got a couple sitting far back. Maybe they're just okay. So they've actually opted in for Fredden to join them on the site take, and for Vicious just to sit back, gather some intel. But I think what's happened just here is they've noticed that the Cypher's playing. They've got a feeling the Cypher's playing here, or at least they can probably hear that tripwire from where Lear is sitting. Lear being actually a very, very, very powerful duelist in Valorant. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do this game. But look how slow this is, Retro. The knife comes out and they all get detected. All 3 of them. Every single one of them in art. It looks like that Jusu's in no man's land right now. Lear, he knows there's a tripwire there. What's he going to do?
Right over the top of it. Now going to use the knife as well for information. A couple of these BONK players on the back of the site. Kicks going to open things up here. The frenzy in for a couple as Lear, well, he's going to try and jump into the trenches and take the fight towards dugout, but it's not going to be his day. Linksy now has to fight off solo, and that's just not going to be the case. BONK, I mean, listen, they were very scared for half a second there. Obviously, it was the dash in from Lear to get the space on towards site, and we thought it was going to be very, very difficult for them to get back into, and instead, BONK know how to turn things back around to survive, and they get the first.
The big turning point of that round, right, was that knife coming down from Kix, getting 3, obviously 3, what's the word, triggered, I suppose. They know that 3 people are there, they've been reconned. They know there's 3 people pushing up. So the nice rotation that BONK had there was to actually, they had more numbers to site. So yes, there were going to be them one-on-one skirmishes, but due to how many numbers they had towards the site, it's so easy for them to trade. And we see that obviously 2 of them come out alive still. BONK stays alive. So yeah, great round coming in from them, and already some very defensive precautions coming out from the side of BONK. They've instantly mollied door. They know that HSDIRR want to go aggressive, and look at Jusu playing very close. The one I said to keep an eye out for. Swings with the Spectre. Can't find one yet. Vicious though, taking the head straight off Bonker. That's their in-game leader out of the game already. That's their knowledge. That's their experience been taken out. What are HSDIRR going to do in this situation?
I'm guessing that is going to be a stun out of the Astra here. I think Jusu definitely wanted to get rid of it. Actually drops his own smoke. So interesting that obviously they're going to allow that art control to happen. Knife goes in towards site. That doesn't catch the KO on the defensive side. It's Kix that actually doesn't get tagged up. He's still accessible with all the utility. Viper Orb out as well. And again, that's just, I guess, trying to prevent as much as they can towards B. Fortunately for HSD, they are making this rotation towards the left-hand side of the map, towards the B spike site. There's only one player to defend right now.
30
Well,
seconds left.
holding it down, nice first shot, now trips the cage, able to create some distance, and that Viper wall on B is going to become a very, very big luxury.
Oh, look at this. Is there actually a gap for him there?
I think he's gonna, his arm should be spotted, right? I mean,
Potentially,
We'll
but you've got
see.
that tripwire. It doesn't go off. 14
yeah,
seconds
no
left.
one's checked. No one's checked. There's your one, there's your two, there's your three. In fact, Jusu to steal one away, but Cider's got the last. And for BONK, they run in, they find the frags, and that angle really nicely set up, by Chihuahua, just gives BONK that second.
Yeah, lovely repositioning from Chihuahua there. I was worried that he was going to stay at pillar, you know, try and hold them off for as long as possible, but knowing that there's only 29 seconds on the clock after he gets that first kill and then just slots himself behind that Viper's wall, any other weapon there, he's got such a free ace. But teams like this, they're going to be there to trade. BONK, they were there to support Chewy. It does not matter if Chihuahua goes down. Yes, he has his neural theft, but he's only lost a ghost. So we now go into this round with 5 Vandals and Phantoms. Look at this from the side of BONK. Aggressive.
Very, very. I like it, though. I think back to what we were seeing out of the Focus game, right? With Apex doing the exact same thing right now that BONK are doing, right? Taking progression towards A. HSD, I feel like are doing the counter that we should have been seeing yesterday, where actually, you know, you're getting aggressive elsewhere to try and take away the information. You can see Vicious already getting stuck in, trying to do the handiwork, and well, that's a good start there for Cider as he's able to take down Fred.
Yeah, that's him, the FPX super sub for Copenhagen, gets that first kill. Instantly, Cider, oh my god, Ale has just absolutely taken his head off, and it's now down to Chihuahua, backside. What's he gonna do?
Oh, there you go, Chihuahua the first, drops the cage away as well. It's the nade that should give up a little bit of info, but do they expect him to progress forward? Well, that's a great adjustment for Chihuahua. Using that angle and getting the trip out means perfect information, and the spray's easy. BONK now a man advantage here. Before they head into the post plant, as Jusu, Kicks, and BONK are at it. The knife not up yet for Kicks, so you can't exactly bring out the suppress just yet. And, well, with Arlate hot on his heels, you've got to find something. And Jusu does exactly that. Actually, the null command ready now for Arlate. And I'm wondering if that's going to get popped here in the 1v2. He's confident in finding the first. Can't find the second. And BONK holds his nerve. And it'll be BONK with the third.
I mean, we usually talk about, right, when you take a lot of players out on the bonus round, it's good. But that was not a bonus round from BONK. They heavily invested into that. They had 4 Vandals and a Phantom. Now, losing that third round is going to be difficult on the mental for HSDIRR. Because I feel like the third round is that round that you really want to get, right? But you've got to give it up to Ale, right? Some of the shots he just hit then, fantastic.
And as well as that, right, like, even though that was a full investment for BONK, that cuts out a lot of the economy out of the HSDIRR side, right? So now we're looking at Cheris, we're looking at maybe a Bulldog Shore on Ale, but a Stinger. It's not great, right? It's really not great, and you can see already a lot of this utility going to be expended. Juicy wants to get aggressive, and Lear on the jet, closing the gap with the Stinger, and going to find the opening kill.
I mean, I like that. Look at that, Kicks, claps back. I do like it how Juicy's trying to beat the knife, right? Teleport behind that box. It's unfortunate, though, that a blind came out at the time that they teleported. Obviously, Lear picks up the kill with the Stinger, which is considered one of the most broken weapons in the game right now. But let's just have a look at the space that BONK are taking. This is what I absolutely love, and I'm pretty sure we saw this while BONK was in-game leading for Guild. They would walk around in threes to take space. Most commonly on Haven, you would always see 3 people walking up Haven, long A, long C, taking that space, power in numbers. It's great to see that this is the type of stuff that he's still bringing to all the other teams. Chewy, though, very nervous that they could be down street. Lynxy holding his ground in A main. Did just get revealed. They know he's there. And the way they're edging towards this is looking like an A split. But Cider and BONK, are they going to hit the heads? There's one from BONK.
Not quite the second, but Cider dropping the KO. That null command. Perfect resurrection opportunity. But it's great, in fact, from Cider. He's able to sideswipe. Kicks there to support. And, well, there you go. BONK are going to make it 4-0. The start of this first map is in bliss.
Yeah, I mean, not expected. Didn't expect the 4-0 or 4-love. 4-0, however people like to say the 0, 4-0. But it's a difficult one to kind of know where it's going right now. It's only 4 rounds in. Can I just say, I never realized there was an Omen statue there. That's actually kind of wild. He's like mid-teleport in that statue. I like it. Juicy though. Omen with the operator. A free get out of jail free card. Gets the kill. Yeah. No flashes on the sides of HSDIRR now, and Juicy ready to re-peek again after the arrow's down.
Yeah, I mean, look, there you go on the angle. Finds another. Don't you dare peek again, Juicy. I was going to say that is an outrageous attempt, but he does indeed find some more information. As Cider just there, just waiting, just knows what he's wanting to do. Op scooped up, 5 on the board, and that was against a full investment from HSDIRR. If you aren't calling a timeout in this round, it has to come in the next, because they're getting owned every single effort they try to make on the map.
Yeah, I mean, that was... I can't even say it was a nice attempt, right? They're instantly taken down. Look at it. It's so smooth. It's so clean. They were instantly taken down by the operator, right? You know there's an operator on Jusu. Why keep on hitting the site? You know, like it's a difficult one to navigate, especially knowing they have an operator. But do they expect Jusu to keep on re-peeking? I don't know. Was it wise? Oh, look at that nice flash. Kix does pick up the first kill, but Fred and Trade with a nice Sheriff headshot. Up in the air, Lear goes with 1. Dashes, misses the right click. BONK 1 HP backside. Lear picks it up. It's now a 4 versus 2.
It's important that they do make that one work. Nice shot from Jusu, but Lear's got a trade. It's a 3K that basically gives them a one-way ticket to a first. Unless, of course, Fredden doesn't see this one coming, but an easy one at that. Listen, they do it the hard way, right? That was on Eco. That was a thrifty round for HSDIRR, and they are indeed going to cough up a first. Now, let's see, of course, what can they do in the near future, right? Is this going to be the start of where they turn the tides, or is this just going to be a one and done where BONK just get right back down to business?
It hasn't really had too much of an impact on the economy for BONK, right? So this is going to be going back into the game where they're ready to face another full buy. HSDIRR, they're not going to be like, oh, they've got our eco, so this might be a free round for us. I mean, you could never count out the ecos, right? BONK quite literally just lost to a half buy. They quite literally did just get annihilated on a half buy. Fredden with them lovely clean headshots with the Sheriff. I do like this coming out from Cider. It goes all the way into A main. There is no possible way HSD can now navigate through A main. They send the Prowler out just to get a little bit of information in the Viper's Pit. Nothing is seen. But Jusu on the nice angle on mid. Here's the drone, backs off, takes a nice shot to the skull, and is going to go for the peek. He's going to go for the peek. He actually gets away from Lear, but Fredden! Nice shot from Fredden.
That was nice, the double swing, right? They close both gaps up, so they go right to left and left to right, just making sure that no player can be sort of tucked in or caught out in transition, in rotation. And ultimately, that operator getting dropped means HSDIRR now with a really good chance of making this one stick. They are going to actually detect a trip, and well, an ultimate coming out here from the side of the attackers. It's the lockdown now from HSDIRR to get onto the site. I do believe Kix tried to pop his ult, but it was a few seconds too late, and the lockdown definitely won't get destroyed. And I do believe that Viper's Pit is going to fall very soon.
It's not. Oh, it is.
It will. Kix opening frag. Nice flash. Kix going to find a second, though. And just like that, Vicious going to try and stick the plant. It's a 3 versus 3. We do have the Cosmic Divide up on Lynxie as well. But the flank from the Astra might just be more valuable. Wondering how that one goes. Are they going to find BONK? Still the flank yet to be detected. Still yet to be compromised. And it is just Kix against 3. And jumps into the jaws of Vicious. It's HSD with the second.
Nice adaptation from HSDIRR here. It was lovely to see Lynxie as well. That MVP versus Focus, you know, 26 kills on the Astra, but this time he is at the bottom, but it's very impactful lurk just then. He had to go fairly quickly, obviously, because of the Cypher neural theft. Any second later, then Shuar would have turned around 180 and taken his head clean off, but he didn't. And Lynxie has that impact, which gives them the second round, and it's just nice to see the adaptation, right? These are some of the highest level teams we have in Polaris. You know, BONK, and then the likes of HSDIRR. We're expecting things like this. Look at Jusu. Jusu is actually going for the exact same play they did last time. It's interesting to see, and I like this smoke. I think they're going to re-smoke it as well. Yeah, both smokes down. So that's probably called on the side of HSD. And maybe now is going to be a good time to aggress somewhere else because they have no smokes. Didn't realize the buy, though. Look at BONK's buy. They only have 1 Vandal, 3 Stingers. I mean, in the current climate of the game, 3 Stingers is probably as good as 3 Operators. I'll be honest to you. That weapon is absolutely disgusting. Let's just see what damage they can actually do with it. Cider with a cheeky little one-way. And they're going to be heading towards... Look! It's the 3-man push again! Look at them! BONK, Jusu, and Kicks staying together like glue. And they're going to find Fred. And Fred might be good for 1 or 2 here. He's good for 0.
All for none! All for none! Harley at least going to create the entry towards the site, and that's important to note. Flash goes through, stun coming in from both parties. Lear now has to drop both of his smokes to just create some distance and give himself a bit of space to work with. But sitting in the smoke is Lear as he finds a double. Harley going to find a third, and it is just Chihuahua against 3. Indeed, it is the Vandal up against it, but do you really give him half a chance in this one? I certainly wouldn't. There's no utility to cancel HSDIRR's defensive form, right? The Knife of Allah going to come up in a few seconds. You've got the Cosmic Divide. It definitely isn't going to be used in this one. The KO ult could be used as well. Nice to see that the cage actually dropped in and he's able to isolate a first fight. Can't go back in, though, because ultimately, well, you're going to run into that utility of the Astra. And here we have it. Shock Dart, or rather the Recon Dart going in. Should be the information, but enough is enough. Lynxy will put this one to rest. And HSDIRR will find a third.
That's close. That was very close from Chihuahua there. I liked how he used the cage first time to tap it. Forces the Astra pull. Not too sure about the reasoning why Ale kind of peaked that early. You know, I mean, I suppose, like, when you have a pull, look at this replay. Thinking he's good for 1, actually gets none. Lear with a nice little transfer as well. But yeah, like, look at that. The first tap, it's great. Unsure why Ale does, you know, kind of swings out. Surely you should have a bit more confidence in your teammate who has the pull on the bomb. But hey, what do I know? These guys are playing and I'm not. I'm just here talking about them. I suppose when you think about it though, they have 3 people alive, right? I think they have the numbers to lose 1. I think it's fair enough. They have the numbers to lose 1, and not only is Ale then gonna let them know if he's on the bomb or not, they then have that Astra pull for the second half if it was halved. So yeah. Unfortunate from Chihuahua. Going into the next round, we do have a timeout from BONK. I think it's necessary. I think when you have a 5-0 lead and you lose 3 on a trot, I think you need to call that timeout. And they have no ults going into this on the side of BONK. Yes, we have HSDIRR, they have the Cosmic Divide, and they have the KO ult, but looking a little bit lackluster for BONK.
Let's go.
Certainly feels a little bit more stripped back, doesn't it? As you said, right?
Yeah.
Like we have got less utility to use. Chihuahua doesn't have either of the trips, nor do we have many ults to work with. I guess Jusu does have the TP, but again, is that going to be a round-changing ultimate? Well, maybe in terms of context, but up front at least, you're not going to be bartering that ult can win a round alone. Whereas Arley or Lynxy, for example, Cosmic Divide and obviously the null command, both very, very integral to kind of get out on a site or to hold a site down, which I feel like especially for the Astra ult, it's a very, very critical one to be using.
I don't know if Kicks just took a shot through the wall again, or that was the shock dart, but nice shock darts coming out from Vicious is just to clear the archway in Link. Looks like Arle is actually going to be going for this. Pot flashes himself in, but knows that smoke is just not nice to deal with. His legs are going to be on show, and he's going to be seeing nothing but blue. Snakebite also comes in to kind of stop them, but you don't want to meet Cider in this situation, right? You know Cider's an absolute demon with it. Kicks is here. He's ready to tell Cider how many people have crossed, but HSDIRR are actually backing off.
30 seconds left.
Lynxy stays around though, overcommits. Now Arle going to bring out the null command in the expectations and the hopes that maybe you can sell a play towards A. But look at this, they still don't believe it's A. They still don't have the idea that indeed it's a split. Nice shot from Arle at least. And, well, they do actually get themselves some site presence. The question is, can they be finding the plant? Well, it's tapped for the first time. Jusu now enabling himself. Gonna try and stun up. It's Fred and now the court in no man's land. And, well, it is actually going to get planted. Vicious doing well. 2v3. BONK have kind of thrown this one away here. They've got to go above and beyond, and it's up to Chihuahua who finds the first. And now,
my
up
eyes
to
are
Ale, 1 versus 1. 1 versus 1! And Chihuahua just nails the shot.
I mean, I get his thinking. Like, he's not going to expect me to peek, but Chihuahua is experienced. Like, Chihuahua is ready for that. You can't catch a guy like him off guard. He is ready. He's taken your head clean off when he's put 6 on the board for Bonk. Honestly, I didn't expect that to go as close as it did, right? Jusu's position was so good backside. Only finds 1. And then also someone is caught on the Cypher tripwire. So for them to actually get the bomb down just then, it's very surprising. But then we start looking at around 10, right? Bonk, they called that timeout after losing 3 in a row. They then win. So whatever they said in the timeout, big success, I suppose. Neural theft. Still got Jusu's ult online. And it looks like they're just heavily going for a 5-man push B long here, Retro.
Guess the change. Just going for it. See what they can do, right? You can see over the top Lear now just trying to evade the Viper wall as best as he can. Will create some space for his team as he dips in towards the U-Haul as well, in towards Elbow. Very important. BONK, hold on! Denies the spike. Very important frag that, because now, of course, HSD have to spend time in getting it back. It's, I was going to say, a scary time to be towards CT, but actually, a teammate saves another. Sider going to find 1 more. Lear, with the knives, up against 4, does find the first. Smoke drops in front, turns to behind. Sider's got it covered. BONK take round number 10. It's 7-3.
I saw that from Lear. I'm not gonna lie, I saw it. I saw the 4K coming out from him right there. Yes, he invested his Blade Storm. He can still buy this round. I'm not too sure as to the idea behind that round, right? Especially going into that round, knowing you have the Cosmic Divide and you're still planting behind the orange box, which is obviously a free wallbang. It confuses me as to why they wouldn't have used a Cosmic Divide there to take the site and plant where they wanted to. Because all they're going to have to do in this situation is, as long as they can get an open plant, and by open plant, I mean somewhere they can hide at pillar or hide far back at the top of B long, and they can see if they're defusing, right? But not using Cosmic Divide in that scenario, I want to know what the reasoning behind that was. And obviously, if they end up winning and we do get a win this interview, that might be something that we can ask, because I'm sat here and I'm quite confused as to why they didn't opt in using that Cosmic Divide, especially because they didn't plant safe. Very odd.
Very, very interesting nonetheless. Let's see
Isolate them and
see how it goes in round 11, right? I think enough discussion about sort of what's happened in the past and everything like that. We just need to see results now. The very present moment for HSD needs to be a round win, because if they don't attack inside, you know, coughing up maximum 4, maybe even just 3 rounds here, economy not great, so I'm guessing it will just be the 3 if they do bust in this very play. Flash.
Can't
Horrific.
go through.
Horrific. Oh, Sider with a triple. You said it. You can't run through like that. The flashbang wasn't effective, and it's an easy hat-trick of frags. 2v4 in the matter of moments. What a hat-trick from Sider.
You can't go through a smoke like that. Not against someone like Sider. You know he's playing at the bottom of the street, and you know that if you have to walk through a one-way where your flash isn't effective, you're going to get your head taken clean off. And it was beautiful from Sider. It was just tap, 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 tap. Fredon, he's going to walk into the crosshair of kicks, and he does fall.
Look
at that.
Easy. There's no words to be said over that kind of play, right? It is just there, done, dusted. Move on to the next. BONK make it 8 now. And criminally, HSD's money, I mean, to be fair, they do get away with Vandals, and they do actually have enough in their pockets to keep it rolling. But this play here, I mean, it's sick aim from Sider there, right? And the rest is history, right? Kix is going to find the 4th. Vicious thinks he's got good space towards Arc, thinks he's on good timing. Jusu, he's on his clock, he's on his wavelength. And it will be 8-3. Maximum at this point is 4 for HSDIRR on attack.
I mean, I thought Sider got 4, to be honest. So that's my mistake. It was just there. Fredon got the trade. Well, it was about time someone got the trade, right? It was a very tough round on the side of HSDIRR, but going into this final round, 9-3 might not be too bad for HSDIRR. There is the 9-3 curse that we spoke about yesterday. It is a real thing. Chewy notes the drone. They can hear it backing off. Chihuahua's backing off. He doesn't want to go down, right? He does not want. I mean, no. Look at this, right? I know exactly why he's backing off. They're nervous about the potential knife coming back. Look, there it is. And what has he done? He's dodged it. He walks straight back onto site, or at least attempts to. Knocked
Wait,
down.
was that the Hunter's Fury? The Hunter's Fury got knocked out because of Kicks'
Yeah,
ult, and now
yeah.
all of a sudden, they're straight into a site that they don't really have any business in winning. Lear goes through and actually detained. Perfect timing for the Jet, but BONK has a response. And now, of course, Nightfall drawn as well. It's a great double from Vicious and Fredden, but BONK has a response. 2 versus 3. You can see all the trails on the floor right now. The rest of the attack inside picked up upon. Cider, do you expect someone close left? Oh, missed opportunity from Vicious. 2 versus 2. Has the ult and, well, uses it, in fact, towards R. I'm not too sure about this play. Actually, I tell a lie. So he's used it to try and create the information that maybe he's coming from that position, coming from A shore, but instead, he's going to come right back in, straight through CT. Cosmic Divide falls. Are they going to sniff that play out? And now it is just up to BONK, who finds the first. Now has the information as well. Should be able to pick it up. Knows that it's an aggressive play from Lynxy. And BONK's quad kill makes it a 9th.
It's so nice from BONK. Just the reveal, the tap, the walk around the site towards backside and getting that kill. Again, it's things like that where you know this man has the experience, right? And not just in in-game leading. This guy has the experience in aim, in leadership, in everything. Most likely one of the most experienced players I think we have in Polaris when it comes to gaming, full stop. He's a master of his craft when it comes to Valorant. Actually, there's statues of every agent around the map. Okay. Interesting.
The more you know, right? Observing team
know.
doing a brilliant job in showing that one off. Because I didn't know that. I didn't realize how detailed the scenery is in the background. Do you see that? There's like a little village behind it as well.
Yeah,
like,
well, even during Copenhagen, or even Masters events, at the back of the attacking spawn. Yeah, you see
the
it.
arena, right? Yeah, yeah.
It's nice to see. It's nice to see that, you know, work goes in behind the map, behind the scenes. Not that we really get too much impact with it, but doesn't matter. 9-3. Pistol round. It's going to be a fairly slow one, but very grouped. The reveal comes in for BONK. Here we are. Nice split. Free sight. Lynxy. Just playing. Oh, Cider's in a bad position here. There's 3 of them.
Oh, but a great flush to bounce them out of everything. BONK. 3 kills in a matter of moments. Retake down to a 2v5. Make it 1. BONK's Frenzy finding another. Lynxy all to do. Alone. Rock and a hard place. No man's lands. Stuck. All of these words, synonyms to his demise, as it's a Gates 5. It's a nice spot. BONK does get taken down. Okay, not bad, Mr. Lynxy. He's gonna find a double for HSDIRR, but it doesn't matter. The pick of the defender's side feel like already backfiring to a quantifiable amount.
Yeah, these series that we've had today and yesterday as well is kind of, they've not really gone. I suppose for the losing team, there hasn't really been too much to show at the start of each series, right? Because when we had the other teams play, especially Hookah's first game on Haven was very similar to what we're seeing from HSD right now, right? Not too much adaptation, not too much, I suppose, initiative when it comes to actually changing up the strats. We've had a couple of run it down strats, which, you know, sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. But even then, those run it down strats, the first second, you lose someone to an operator, right? And then they had to continue to attack the site because they'd invested so much in that push. So it's sad to see, but this is where we really want to see HSD actually, you know, come alive. We need one of them to come alive. 10-3. BONK. Heavy lead. Very slow round, I must say, for a second round after losing pistol. usually you'd see HSD. I'm talking about obviously the defense right now. Usually it's trying to see them take space, right? But they're not. They're just kind of playing a default spread around the map. Maybe that's a confidence issue. Maybe they're not wanting to actually take them group fights. But here we go, Retro. They're pushing the site, and Kix is going to start it off by mollying.
Here we are, Stinger, BONK. I respect the efforts trying to get involved though with the Vandal, and it will get dropped after one. Linksy finding some success with the Sheriff. But ultimately, we needed that second pillar, we needed that supportive piece, and it's not coming from Vicious either for HSDIRR. And, well, it is just Lear. 1 against 3, and, well, unfortunately, my friend, your time is now. It's 11-3, BONK running away with this one. And, you know, I don't even think the calling's been amazing from BONK this game. It is just players hitting their shots, and HSDIRR just don't have a reaction to it.
I think it's some questionable decisions, though, from HSDIRR, right? Because they know that Cider always had a one-way on door in the last half. But there was a couple of times they chose to try and go through it. Once they flashed, it didn't work, and Ale actually backed off. But the second time, they committed, right? And that's when we saw Cider hit that highlight, hit that 3K, get traded by Fredden. But still, I'm not too sure if it's... Not too sure if this is great calling from BONK or just bad calling from HSD. Nonetheless, you can't take it away from BONK. They're hitting their shots, right?
Definitely can't. You get the feeling already that this is going to be over as quick as it starts. Doesn't matter what HSDIRR kind of throw up to defend with. This is the round that is the true test, right? You've got your rifles, you've got your fully automatic weapons. This is it. Lose this round, there is going to be no belief. And already Chihuahua towards B, opening things up massively. Linksy sure does trade. But the problem is with your Cypher committing towards B, I think it kind of gives you the idea that maybe it's an A play. And that was a Stinger, not a Vandal, a Stinger that has just done that. It's insane. What can you do? You blink, you miss it. It's 4 players detected, admittedly. Why does it matter? I mean, Fredden's there to deny the spike plant. Linksy finding a second. Fredden a third. It's Cider against 3. And HSDIRR actually do have a response. But again, that did not look very good at the beginning. And a great shot from Cider before he gets taken down. A hat-trick by Linksy. A 4th on the board here for HSDIRR.
I'm so happy you highlighted that. I'm so happy you highlighted that that was a Stinger. It does not look like a Stinger, right? You walk out of that smoke and then bang, your head's been taken off with two headshots. But I want to know, Chihuahua with that pick on B long, okay? And that's the reason why I wanted to make sure that we got that stat on screen of first blood percentage, because yes, being a sentinel, you're not really expected to get them first bloods, but that just goes to show the timing that Chihuahua is taking to actually be able to get them first bloods, right? To be able to open up the map and be able to at least give BONK that chance to get into the round, which unfortunately didn't go their way. But we do have a rebuy from BONK. They have the economy, they have fully invested. So let's just see what happens in this round. Lear taking the exact same position that Jusu took.
Vicious wanting to get aggressive, sitting behind that Killjoy utility. He's going to have anything other than his rifle to work with, and BONK opening things up correctly. Swarm going to be used as Fredden. I mean, you kind of understand his thought process, right? The player being dropped there, even though you have your utility to hold on, you kind of just want to make sure that they don't pressure the angle too quickly. You're spamming down the wall just in case it's where you get any damage as they rotate in towards Art. So it's just a precaution rather than it is an aggressive play. But for BONK to walk away 5v4 here and for really no trade to be put up just yet, as you can see, they're going to make this one a contact play because they know HSDIRR are going to have to make a gamble, and the stack for BONK is correct to HSDIRR's defense.
Yeah, they're just going to back off. HSD, give them the site. It's 5 versus 4, like you said. They've got power in numbers. And look, right, they're not going to try and plant behind the orange box because we saw exactly what happened when HSD tried to plant behind the box. And this is the point I'm trying to make. Silly little decisions like that. Lear is going to be looking for a quick entry into backside. Picks up 1. Juicy falls. BONK with a trade. Lear with 2 as well. But Nightfall comes out. Ale onto site. It's all happening right now. They're dead.
That was very, very sloppy from the BONK side. I mean, look, the wall, you kind of understand it, right? Using Cosmic Divide, Linksy is in a position where I mean, you know, you just use it and expend it. This double from Lear is super important. I'm not sure if Chihuahua timed out or if he was just trying to play up close to the smoke or what the idea was there in that very moment. But I'm guessing it's to try and hope that he gets overlooked, which certainly wasn't the case. Gets blasted down by Lear, who, you know, had Lear have just died at the first hurdle, that round 100% goes in favor of BONK. Instead, it has really opened up, and Lear does a great job in initiating that retake, which is very, very integral to the HSDIRR survival. It's 11-5.
Yeah, I mean, that all happened so fast. I think within the space of 2 seconds, everyone from the side of BONK had fallen on HSDIRR do pick up that 5th round. It was potentially sloppy from BONK on the post plant, but also it was the fact that HSDIRR did do a fast retake. You saw Lear take back sight. Hang on, hold my thoughts right there. BONK are picking up the pace. Couple are vulnerable. They're going to push straight back to backside. Look at this. It's so aggressive.
There you go, Vicious a double, and well, 1v4 Cider. Blinds, doesn't matter. Does try and scoop up the Vandal. Didn't want to reload. Knew that he was going to meet his demise at some point. Tried to get a better weapon, and it is not going to happen. 11-6. HSDIRR making this look a little more competitive by the second.
Yeah, and this is what I said, right? I wanted to see some bite back. I wanted to see some fire in their eyes, and that's exactly what we see. They are closing that gap, and when they got that 4th round, I said they need to start closing that gap, and that's exactly what they are doing. Let's just see how Lear can use this operator, though, on this round. It's going to be very interesting to see what type of position he holds. He's most likely going to be taking that B-long position, taking that deep, deep information, knowing that if he does get that first pick or if he does see somebody, he can give that information to his team. But look at this from Jusu. You don't expect people to stick this, but Jusu has stuck it the whole way.
Well, look, HSDIRR are going to be so focused on what's ahead of them. The flank is redundant. But they've got the sight, and Jusu, enough of a distraction to take the mines maybe off the flank, and then as soon as the players up front do the damage, they forget about the flank. So it was really well choreographed by the attacking side. Viper's pick going to be used as well. Vicious just fires blind through the ult, and actually does connect. I'm not too sure with who. By the looks of things, it's kicked. And actually a lockdown going to be expended here by HSDIRR. I'm wondering, is there any utility on this attacking side to kind of flush that out? I mean, we do have a snakebite maybe on Cider, but you're never going to waste it on the ult, and it's never going to do enough damage. It's not going to detain anyone, and it's being stuck right now. 2 seconds, 1 second, done. Brilliant round there from HSDIRR. A sick retake, numbers down, but they do find it anyway. Lear doing a great job. Had his knife out, believed that no one was going to swing him. 2 players stare him right down, but he survives with his life.
Interesting. A very interesting round there. Obviously, Cider chooses to use the Viper's Pit, right? And I think this is probably why they're going to be calling a timeout, because it looks like they had mixed signals during that round. So they chose to obviously use the Viper's Pit. I suppose they had to adapt as well, because Fredden popped the lockdown. He had to get away. But that lineup that Cider had to chuck, did you see how far away he had to run? He had to run back all the way to where we can see BONK on the map right now. He's in that little corner, and it has to travel all the way to the A site. And I think the issue there is, if you're going to play lineups, and if you're going to be like, oh god, I've got to come off site, the lockdown's going to trap me, guys, let's play lineup, you've got to have someone stay on site, I think, to try and at least delay that defuse. Because Lear jumped straight on that bomb. Or at least he smoked the bomb for his teammate, and the defuse came through. So I think BONK are going to be talking about potentially, okay guys, if we're going to do lineups, we need someone to delay for the first 5 seconds, because we know that our teammate Cider has to run all the way back. The guy had to run a marathon to get into his lineup position. It's like we see on Breeze, right? We see some people do lineups from deep, deep, deep cave, just on the outside of cave. But most of the time you have somebody that's like delaying the defuse. There was no one that round, which is why BONK did fall.
Dash popped early by Lear, thinking maybe, just maybe, I can deliver.
Here.
No fragging potential just yet. Defending side wants to play things a little slower. Ali, gotta be careful. He's gonna back away and play a little more defensive. Escape from Art, leaves that onto the operator and try and assist his team towards the A side of things. You can see Moment of Jusu trying to create the idea at least that they are heading towards Link, and they are heading towards B, but nothing to act upon it just yet. That knife going to be making Ala redundant for a few moments. Still very slow at this BONK side.
Yeah, a very slow start indeed. Gonna see what they can find here. Kicks and Juicy looking like they're gonna take first contact. They do. The knife does come out. Not too sure how many people that marked. But he got the information from what he saw. But look at Chihuahua. He's walking down B-long again, trying to get that information. Inksy. Backside jump spotting. Vicious jump spotting. Nearly gets his head ripped clean from his neck. BONK are going to go around the corner. He doesn't expect this angle. It's a perfect angle, and Vicious gets 3 in a 5 versus 2 with 13 seconds left. What can Chihuahua do in this situation? He picks up 1. Vicious does fall. Linksy, all he has to do is play time now. Ale from the top takes out Chewy. Cider left alone. What can he do, Retro?
Nothing. Just wants to die, get money.
Swarm grenade out.
No worries at all. Cred's going to be given to him. And, well, this triple from Vicious, right? I think kind of served on a silver platter a little bit. Didn't even need to move to crosshair from second to third. It was just a straight lineup, but it's one that delivers massively for this HSDIRR side. Because, you know, we were talking that this map was a complete write-off, but now HSDIRR kind of an arm's reach away from tying the game once more. You can't sit here and say that BONK have still got this one under lock and key, because money's an issue, you know, momentum's an issue. Starting to see the fragging power from Lear, obviously, on that jet, and a couple of others as well. It's just very difficult right now to reason why BONK can make this the 12th over any other opportunity that they've had.
Yeah, I'm getting very similar vibes to the Focus game when HSDIRR had to play them. They seem to play their best when they're on the back foot. But if they can play their best when they're not on the back foot and actually take that lead, then potentially we might see an even stronger HSDIRR in the future. But nonetheless, they are attacking the site. Ale picks up 1, 2, 3. Cider with the trade. Bombs not even down. Linksy, this is just one of them rounds. It was a full buy, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And that was a very quick full buy.
Very easy dismissal.
Oh my. Was that a half buy? Well, they can buy again at least. So, regardless, I'm sure they... Yeah, no, it was. No, that was definitely a half buy. They had Vandal half hours.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, right, they still had guns to at least possess a site or to at least throw up a bit of a fight. But the fact that HSDIRR just slot quite nicely into it and easily done. And well, here we go. What can we see differently? That's a decent start. It's Cider on the Viper that gets aggressive and delivers the man advantage. Lear walks into it. It was only a matter of time until they punish, but Chihuahua solo towards B will be the recipient of an easy headshot.
Careful.
I'm not too sure if I like that from Chihuahua, right? AO's now about to get a position, and they are... Oh, if he was to crouch behind the metal container, he would have actually got more, but he only picks up 1. Okay, we're now down to a very even fight. It's a 3 versus 3. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm not too sure I enjoyed what Chihuahua did there. They got the pick onto Lear. Cider gets that kill, but then Chihuahua decides to... Well, he decides to swing, right? But they're coming down B-long right now. Presence detected backside. And this is where all of them are revealed. All 3 of them are revealed. Retro.
Difficult now. Can they make this one stick? I mean, you know where everyone is, but... Look at this for Kicks. Doesn't move. Instead, they want to try and bait the idea that maybe they've rotated. Cider's obviously dropping up the wall. Not that HSDIRR are going to hit any of that. Linksy's jump spotting. He would have spotted 1 there, and that is enough to keep everyone about. And as you can see, Omen here to try and help out. Cider opening frag, trying to find a second. Linksy able to help out, and well, going to try and use the concuss as best as he can to deny the spike plant, and it does happen. Jusu taps again, expecting the swing. Teammate not there to help. Kicks is nowhere to be seen. Kicks is going to find the first, taps it, but Vicious a second. HSDIRR up to 10.
Wow. Look, this can go in both ways, right? We have seen this happen already in Polaris, which is why it is such a competitive league. I touched on it earlier. HSDIRR, sorry, they love playing from the back foot, especially against Focus. And now we have BONK, who are, like I said, there was one thing that I said during the pre-match. It was discipline and it was structure. And that's what I wanted to see from BONK. When they get to a scoreline, of how high they were up, right? They were, what, 11-4? They need to try and close it out, and that's exactly what happened earlier on in the week. They couldn't close it out. You know, the Icebox, well, the Icebox game, very shaky that they had. Very, very shaky. This is just a... Don't want to say a throwaway round because they have 4 stingers. Lear most likely going to take first contact here and probably take the head clean off of Cider if he does peek. Nope. Takes the arm off the robot. And as a response, the ult is popped.
Well, yeah, that's just to deny any follow-up frag, right? For BONK, they can't then go in off the back of it because, well, ultimately they have no kicks to be that duelist and the initiator in that sense, right? Jusu can't use either smokes. Chihuahua can't even, you know, use the camera to see if they can get any information off the back of it. It's just very, very easy Valorant being played right now, and HSDIRR know a numbers game, when it's in your favor, is a very easy round to convert. And as you can see, flashbang, brilliant, first frag. And we're going to find the first of what could be many from this angle. Looking for a second thread, and we'll pinch it away. BONK's going to find one.
30
But
seconds
it is a
left.
2 versus 4, and with time being of the essence. Fredden going to find another, and HSDIRR, ladies and gents, if you didn't already believe it in, you know, 3 rounds ago when I said it wasn't within an arm's reach, now we're at tie game heading into round 23.
Yeah, this is very nice from HSDIRR. They are going to get the bomb plant down, though,
10
on the
seconds
side of BONK. And is BONK going to lead BONK in a 1 versus 4 victory?
Do you want me to tell you the answer to that?
Well, if he wraps here, middle, he's going to win. Okay, I've said it.
No, he's not.
Look at him.
You
Look at
are-
him. He's rapping. He's rapping. He's so confident. The experience from this man. He knows they're all coming from CT.
Thing is, though, he shifted way too early, in my opinion. Like, look. Oh, and now we're going to get on it. Lear, yep, I'll stick it. Don't worry, BONK. Nowhere to be seen. Who would have seen that one coming, good sir?
It's an attempt. Look, it's an attempt.
I respect it.
And
I
I
respect
respect
it.
it. I
Because
respected it.
There you go. Damage.
He needs to die, though,
Ching.
no?
He does, and he doesn't. So, okay, well, he did have enough for the upgrade. I guess that's at least a bit of a promise, but you might as well have just sent it in, right? You either die and get a bit of extra money, or, well, you know, you don't, or just try and scoop up the Vandal. Just some advantage, some gathering of weaponry. 11-all, ladies and gents, tied up as we head into our penultimate round of the second half. The fact that it's even this close to begin with, I think a lot of jaws would be hitting a lot of desks at home right now.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure as to the why save. I know they're on... Oh, hang on. Look at Lear. They're reading this. Look at it. Jusu takes the head clean off of Lear. That's a big kill. That's the start of the... Not the beginning. The start, not the start of the beginning. The start of the 12th round win. I think. Sure, BONK are hoping. Chihuahua taking up that position on long, like normal. God, I'm still kind of shocked that, you know, that 4-1 before didn't come in. Okay, it's about the pace is being picked up, Retro, right here.
Yeah, Linksy now stuck. Rock in a hard place. That KO grenade has done so well. I'm gonna find another one at least. So HSDIRR keeping the numbers somewhat respectful, but this is a 4 versus 3, and you can already tell, right? Playing very defensive. Just got everything for the spike right now. It's planted dead in the open. No chance really for this attacking side to give it up too soon. I do believe that was a snake bite on top of the spike. It did actually overshoot, which means it is defusable, and the second one overshot as well. And HSDIRR, they need these frags. They know it all too well. I was going to hit a third. Chihuahua from behind going to sideswipe one more. It's a great ding coming out. They do know that they're off the spike now, and it's all a matter of time. And BONK, when their backs are against the wall, they will indeed deliver. And there we have it. I'll at least going to find the fourth. Goes down to the spike. And it will be 12-11, BONK 1 up.
What a round for Marley, though. He did so much. Look at him, 25 and 13 assists. The guy's having an incredible, and I mean an incredible game. It's just unfortunate, right, that Chewy decided to take that lurk because they weren't ready for it. I mean, BONK, he tried to do it last round in a round that, you know, was 99.9%. Lost already, but here we go. We could potentially be going into the final round here, Retro.
Definitely could be. If it's not We're guaranteed another 2 at a bare minimum. Lear, blind, forced off the angle, relying on the KO to help out here. And oh, that command comes out at perfect time because that was going to be the nade to deny entry into the site. They now have to rely on the utility of their Astra to get stuck in. Jusu's going to scoop up one of the ult orbs. I mean, you know, might as well. No one's really got anything to work with either. They've got their ult or they're so far away there's no point. They're expecting some movement towards middle here and expecting maybe the pace to be picked up from Art and back around in towards Link. That smoke, yeah, I was going to say, might draw him right back in, but BONK don't go either way towards the hub of the map. Instead, want to take contact towards the longest part. They're going to head towards B.
Yeah, they are heavy rotating towards A, though, on the side of HSDIRR. Like,
Toxins going up.
and I suppose they have got the Viper's Pit, but Ale just picks up Cider
30
through the
seconds
smoke. The lockdown does come in, but it's on the wrong site. Lynxy is going to be holding the cross, but so is Lear. Lynxy.
Oh, and a missed shot from Lynxy. Now Fredden going to try and get stuck in. Jusu will find one more. No one to the lockdown. Well, of course, that is going to be the case. Actually spotted out there, Lear. Looked like Lear dropped the TP then, but it wasn't. I promise. Jusu, I mean, very, very bold. BONK 1 versus 3. Needs to deliver on a bulldog of all weapons as well. Spots one out to the left. Will be the KO. Nice first shot. Needs to make it more than that, though. Gets the reload stuck in as well. Vicious starting to defuse as well. Lear missed shots. Needs to hit it. Needs to find the frags. And Vicious will deny overtime in our first map of the 3.
That was a close, and I mean a close final round just there. Ale jumping out in his ult. I'm not 100% too sure what he was doing there. I thought he was actually going to jump spot to try and get the information, but him going down there is kind of risky because if BONK picks up Lear on this peak that you see just there, I honestly think it's curtains for HSDIRR. They have done so well, though, to get back all the way to 12. This is literally a deja vu. We are watching HSDIRR versus Focus once again, and I'm sure after this game, HSDIRR, they're probably going to say, can we stop playing Pearl? Last round of overtime. See what they can cook up. Let him cook.
Yes, indeed.
Let him cook.
Let him cook.
See what's going to happen. They are going to go for an aggressive play into A main. A main
Yeah,
though here.
I think certainly HSDIRR leaning more towards A. The issues that they had, majoritively speaking, were on that attacking side, right? This is where they lost such a big lead. Maybe hoping for a different result. They were confident on defense. Lear's operator, you know, despite maybe not having the fragging potential to what else we've seen this weekend, he's just been a very sturdy pillar behind this HSDIRR side.
Oh.
Yeah, information gathered, but no kill. Jusu, 48 points of health, the difference. Ultimately, going to try and use his TPs to get out of dodge, and will do exactly that.
I wanted to know how far back HSDIRR were playing. Vicious actually droned from back in his spawn, pretty much. That's how nervous they are. They know, right? They know that BONK love to push in threes, and we're even potentially going to see it right now. Look at them, playing as 3 on the A site, and that's why they probably droned so far back.
Jump spot in Lear. Indeed, dropping the smoke just to try and create a little bit of an opportunity. Goes over the top, no one checks. No one checks! It's an easy kill for Cider. BONK a follow-up. HSDIRR, they will find a response. 4 versus 3. Problem is, time is of the essence. There's 11 seconds left. Nade, perfect positioning from Kicks. And that's enough. That's enough to win the round. There's no chance. Fredden now. Oh, Fredden, a double kill, but no time. BONK holds his nerve. He's knifing the walls. He's making the noise. You know exactly what I'm up to. Going for the shorty play and will indeed connect. BONK will make it 13 for his squad.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of wild. Where Cider was sitting directly in that corner. He was honestly, very, very, very lucky not to kill more, to be honest. If they were to all have pushed that smoke at the same time, he could have been in for potentially a 4 kill. But Fredden, what a nice attempt. Genuinely, what a nice attempt. Surprised that, I'm not too sure. I'm kind of surprised that as many of them died. at the end just there, especially knowing that the bomb had just been dropped by the spike carrier because of, well, a lovely fragment coming out from kicks. But I suppose as long as one of them stays alive, it's the same outcome of the round. And BONK, in response to such a good round, they call a timeout. And I've been in this situation before, not in anything as important as this, but when obviously not anything this important, this is Polaris, but in situations like this, when it's not even the nerves, it's probably the excitement that the team have right now. After they won that overtime round, the amount of comms that are probably going on, like the amount of screaming potentially, they might have just need to call that timeout just to chill, right? Or they call that timeout because they know that this half, or this round, sorry, is potentially the deciding factor of the series, maybe, because...
Yeah, I mean, look at the amount of green that was in the top bar there, just for a second. I think, there was 2 rounds highlighted in red out of the, 14, 15 that we get at the top. I don't see the exact amount, but either way, the attacking side has been the problem for both. Lear wanders in, finds the first shot. BONK wanted to get aggressive here, maybe trying to put up a bit more of a defense and, you know, trying to safeguard the B site away from the defenders early on. Not going to be the case. Waiting for that wall to drop. Lear had already crept through. What's with lead out for BONK? They are a man down. Cider makes his way through. Oh, this is perfect, but needs to find the frag. Wrong place, wrong time. Fredden expects it.
Yeah, he doesn't pick up the kill. Fredden, superstar this player is. BONK, he's not going to get the kill on Linksy. He's only jump spotting. You've got like a split second to take his head off. And it does look like they're coming in for a fake here. Lear doesn't get revealed, but the recon dart does come out. How much can BONK sell this fake? I really do not think he can. He's going to have to make a bit more noise as it is. There's the fire. There's the bullet, should I say. Look at that swing! The suck as well.
I think the suck actually pulled him into that fight. Great flashbang. Fredden blind Jusu able to pick it up. 2v3. Spike goes down. BONK. Listen, numbers game isn't in your favor, but a bit of hope. And that is going to be a perfect way to win this one out. I was going to say, both players seriously going to go to spawn from art, but no. Looks to be Jusu's going to at least play a little more passive. Both, in fact, just hiding, wondering, okay, it's now planted a little more open, maybe a little bit more believability that it's going to be for art.
Look at
We'll
this
see.
flash. Oh, he hasn't got one. Oh, he has, yeah.
He
Look
does.
at the flash coming
It's
in.
drawn out. It's a flash, but it actually blinds himself and blinds everyone. 1v3 here for Kicks. It's being stuck. Half already done. Continue to be stuck. Continue to be stuck. And there we have it. Double OT. Great round from HSDIRR, and they find the kill as the cherry on top.
Yeah, cherry on top indeed. 13-13. We're going into round 27 right now. And HSD have called their timeout. I think this is a wise timeout. I think when they've got timeouts to call, I think going into this round, they need to start working out what their issue is when, you know, when they are... I mean, this was the half they lost quite a few rounds, right? And this is where they seriously need to try and get this lead in overtime, because I feel like they're always playing on the back foot. And yes, we have found out that they love playing on the back foot, but now is not the right time to want to play on the back foot, right? Now is the time they want to be on their front foot. They want to be 10 strides ahead of BONK. Is it possible to be that many strides ahead of BONK, though? He's a smart man. Is he going to pull something out in this second overtime? What do they need to do to get this round and to get this 14th round on the board for HSDIRR Retro? What do they need?
A lot, to be honest with you. A real lot. I think for both teams, right, they know that the win condition of this game is to win on attack. That is the only way either team is going to win this. HSDIRR in this one need a Hail Mary. I think, you know, you got to look at KO versus KO lineup. You know, I was talking about BONK, the supportive piece here. Well, the duelist piece here is actually more a supportive one, right? It's the initiator that has to step up. We're not seeing that from either, right? And so it's been pretty hard to kind of weigh in for HSDIRR. You can tell that Lear's presence alone is quite empowering. That duelist setup that BONK aren't running, coming at a bit of a cost. And already HSDIRR looking to try and take the A site through art. but actually the control of A main is theirs. Do they expect this kind of aggression? BONK needs to find a couple, only good for one. The swing back as Fredden finds both. Now that is an integral double kill. Are they looking for more here? Flashbang was ready to drop. And the lockdown out because, of course, that Killjoy finding a double. Fredden slamming the lockdown in. And now it's a free spike plant. Although, Joao, I was going to say, could be using this angle to an advantage. It's a really nice Astro Smoke. Now Lynxy can just move forward and set it into place. And there we have it. It's a retake required from BONK. It is down to 3, down to 2 because Ali's got another. And now Kick's going to try and swing out. Can't find anything. Cider's got the first. HSDIRR might just be able to take this first map off them. It's double OT. It would be commiseration again if they were to lose it. This time, they know what it's like to be a roundup. Not only is it a roundup in general, but it's on this attacking side. It's Fredden to close the show. 14 to HSDIRR, and they move to the defending side, excuse me.
What a round from HSDIRR there. But I want to give credit to BONK, right? And this is a very similar situation that you can find yourself in on a map like Bind, right? If you're ever playing only 2 people on Bind A site, you have to keep Showers control, and you have to try and keep Showers control until your teammates can rotate. That's the aim of the game, and that's exactly what they tried to do in main just then. They knew they were getting pinched from R, so BONK would have made the call saying we have to take a main control here, but it was just unfortunate that they didn't fully commit and they weren't playing off of each other. As you saw, I think it was Juice who got the first kill, but then Freddan was just going absolutely crazy, and this is so good for HSDIRR. They are now doing exactly what I said. They are 10 strides ahead of BONK and a player advantage as well. Retro, this could be the final round we see. This could be it.
It surely has to be, right? Look at Lear's positioning on the minimap. He's out towards B. They've got so much information that they are only going to have to drop in towards the A site, and there's a minute left to hold on to. Lear aggressive on the operator as well, holding the deep angle. It's very, very slow right now out of the hands of BONK. They want to make sure that the next move is correct, as it is still very harsh right now. BONK yet to make their move, but of course, if it's well calculated here by HSDIRR, they'll know that it has to be towards A. You see the Sova tries to go back, Vicious thinking, can it be B? And then Lear's like, dude, I've got this, trust me. Gamble stack the A site, and it is a perfect call to be making. 30 seconds left. BONK, no other choice, no other opportunity. One smoke, one wall, one last chance. Lynxy using the pull just to try and delay even further. Vicious now going to drop the owl drone out. Lynxy sits in the attacking side smoke. One player pings. They have to set this one down. If Kix even attempts to stick this one, it's going to be a hard one to get done. There's your first. Pulls off. 6 seconds. Needs to deny. Needs to help. BONK trying to do it all. It's one man left, and it is not enough to do it. HSDIRR will take map 1.
Wow. Now that is what you call a performance by HSDIRR. That was incredible. And that final round was all down to Lear. Having that angle, right, on B long, having the early information they're not going to be coming B is the reason that they had so many players on the A site. And this is what you want to see from a player like Lear, who is very, very talented on the operator. It's a pleasure to see. And honestly, playing on the back foot that whole game, HSDIRR 100% deserved that win. And in this next game, I really do want to see at least something more from BONK.
I mean, this was, you know, to most eyes at home, an unlosable scenario for BONK, right? Like, how dominant were they on that first half? How good did they look, showcasing their ability? HSDIRR didn't really have much of a reply to how BONK were just conducting themselves here in the first. And ultimately, second half, HSDIRR delivered the exact same impact. You see, round after round, position after position. I think, what, this ended 9-3 if I'm not mistaken, which is a massive amount to put up. And, well, ultimately, it's just a hard pill to swallow here if you are on that BONK side, because, as you said, right, they teed themselves up for success. They even won the pistol. Yeah, it was 10-3, right? And they throw this entire game in the gutter.
Yeah, I mean, being 11 rounds, or having 11 rounds on the board and not being able to finish the game is just very sad for them. But I was saying, it's exactly what happened on Icebox during the week, right? When they could not finish it was against Vamonos, if I'm not mistaken. Was it against Vamonos? I'm sure it was against Vamonos on Icebox, and they couldn't grab the win. They played so great throughout, and then they fell short. Yes, the next 2 games they did stomp, but we need the first map on the board if you're gonna at least have maximum confidence, right? Because they're going to be going into this next game with a knock to their confidence, and they're going to be saying to each other, how did we not finish this game?
And, well, quite fitting, right? MVP for HSD was that KO. We were talking about the difference between, you know, the good and the great in that sense, right? And although neither of these players really on the comparison on the radar, it's a Viper out of BONK that does the most in terms of ACS. And for HSDIRR as well, I think they could be very happy with that performance. Lear, although 3rd in the sheets overall, I think, as you said, he had a lot of impact in picking up information, picking up knowledge, and especially in that final round of the game, right? Had he have not gone so aggressive towards long, had I have not pointed that out either, I think it would have been a massive overlook. BONK didn't think about it and punished greatly for their actions. And well, ultimately now, BONK, sure, it's your map pick. It's the second one, right? It's Breeze that's selected by them. It's HSDIRR that start on the defense. But I feel like one very good half by the European side, and this game could be going 2-0 to HSDIRR.
Yeah, I mean, you have to give it to HSDIRR, right? You have to give it. What a cracking performance. I mean, by both teams, but the final hurdle was jumped over by HSDIRR, and like you said, when we see the players who actually were outstanding in that, have to give it to Ale. Like you said, I mean, Ale just had what a performance. Some of them pot flashes coming in over the top. You know, you got to give it to him. You got to give it to him.
Yeah, Al had a really good game, and I think that's going to be testament to what it's like, right, in the best of 3 format. BONK, are they going to learn their mistakes by not running a duelist? I think so, quite honestly. I think so. And you need one on Breeze, really, don't you? You just need a space maker. That's one of those maps. And, well, listen, Marcus, there's still plenty more to run through. BONK, they need this second map if they want to stay in this competition in a BO3. If not, HSDIRR will take it 2-0. It's up Breeze. It's up next.